I was waiting for him.
Yeah, me too.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to start the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting for Monday, November 20th, 2023. The time is now 6:15. Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Guzman.
Present.
Alderman Hayes.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Guzman. Alderman Newsom.
Present. We have a quorum. Item C, approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from October 16th, 2023?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Hayes, second by Alderman Florian. Are there any questions to this motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item D, public comment. Is there anyone that wants to speak on anything on the agenda tonight? Being none, we'll move on to new business. Item A, an ordinance amending Section 18-43 of the Code of Ordinances regarding vacation of city-owned property. The City of Waukegan previously adopted Section 18-43 of the city's Code of Ordinances governing the vacation of streets or alleys under the jurisdiction of the city. Section 18-43, which was adopted pursuant to the city's home rule authority, deviates from the provisions of the Illinois Municipal Code regarding vacations in various ways. 65 ILCS 5/11-91-1 ETSCQ. Most significantly, Section 18-43 allows for the vacation of public right-of-ways based on the affirmative vote of a majority of the alderpersons holding office, rather than the statutory requirements of 3/4 of the governing body. The city often receives requests from property owners to vacate unapproved right-of-ways adjacent to their property. To ensure flexibility and clarity in the vacation process, city staff recommends that the city amend Section 18-43 to bring it into conformance with the requirements of the state vacation law. Can I get a motion?
I so move.
Motion by Alderman Bolton. Second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Florian. Are there any questions to this motion? Do everyone understand what we're doing? Alderman Florian?
I believe I understand this, but I'd like some more clarification from Attorney Weiss.
Yes, a number of years ago, the city adopted a different procedure for vacating rights-of-way. And when we talk about vacation of rights-of-way, what it means is that there are streets and alleys that are under the jurisdiction of the city. The city is responsible for, it is the city's property. And there is a process under Illinois state law as to the different ways that these streets and alleys, if they're not improved, if they're not used by the city, can be vacated. And by vacated basically means returned to the adjacent property owners. And so the Illinois statute says that they can be vacated proportionally to the people next to them, to the adjacent landowners. They can also be vacated to a single landowner that is adjacent to it if proper compensation is provided. A number of years ago, the City of Waukegan adopted through its home rule authority. Home rule authority is a kind of a higher level of authority that communities that have populations over 35,000 have. to kind of to create its own procedure for vacating rights of way. And one of the things that is a little bit unclear in the city's own procedure is, thank you for the soundtrack. No, it made it feel much more dramatic. And so we want to clarify and give the city the most flexibility possible, that the city council can make a determination whether a right-of-way should be basically deeded back to each of the landowners that abut it, or if it can be given to a single one, so long as proper compensation is being paid. What this ordinance does is it basically adds in the flexibility that is already in the state statute and gives the city council a little bit more discretion in that respect.
Thank you.
If there's any more questions, roll call, please.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item B, resolution authorizing amendment to the lobbyist agreement with Cornerstone Government Affairs, Inc. for a 2-year contract extension. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt a resolution approving the extension of the agreement with Cornerstone Government Affairs, Inc., and that will go until the agreement is extended till December 31st, 2025. Can I get a motion on the floor?
I so move.
Seconded.
Motion by Alderman Bolton, second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion?
I have something.
Alderman Bolton?
Yeah, I just want to express I appreciate how they were so thorough in their presentation and explaining each item on there, and it was well put together. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item C, a resolution approving a letter of understanding with the Service Employees International Union, SEIU Local 73, regarding a special stay agreement for public safety dispatchers. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian,
Seconded.
second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion?
I have just a question.
Alderman Bolton?
I understand in the presentation there's a question in reference to consolidation for the dispatchers. Can someone elaborate?
Well, but I can provide a little bit of context on why this is necessary. And Chief of Staff Bridges can also jump in. There is an exploratory group right now that is considering creating a consolidated emergency dispatch for Lake County. This is happening in a number of counties. The state is pushing for emergency dispatch to move from something that is done on a local basis to being done on a regional basis. And more smaller dispatch centers are closing down, and you're seeing a migration towards regional dispatch centers like NORCOM and DUCOM and other ones that are made up of a number of different communities. Lake County is exploring this. The Lake County Sheriff's Office is heading up this exploratory effort. And so the purpose of this agreement is that in the event that a consolidation occurs, that the dispatchers who work for the city of Waukegan will receive an extra incentive to stay with the city until such time as we are ready to move over. Dispatchers are extremely hard to hire right now. They are in demand, and if anyone who is working as a dispatcher, if they want to leave their current job, there's 5 offers out there. So one of the efforts was to ensure that there is never any interruption in service or in level of service from our dispatch center, that this was a necessary agreement to enter into with the union to ensure that was the case. Did I sum that up?
Absolutely, great job. And your chief of the fire department, Greg Pazer, and police chief Edgar Navarro, and Director Guzman, and our Alderwoman Newsom have been a part of some of these meetings. The one thing I want to clarify that our attorney did not state is that this has no effect on us having to go to consolidation. If we choose not to consolidate or to consolidate, this just gives us time, as again, to maintain and retain the dispatchers that we do have.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item D, an ordinance amending the City of Waukegan's annual budget for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2023, and establishing an appropriation policy for ground emergency medical transportation program funds. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bolton, second by Alderman Hayes. Staff recommends the City Council approve an ordinance amending the City of Waukegan's annual budget for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2023, and establishing an appropriation policy for ground emergency medical transportation program funds. Are there any questions? Alderman Guzman?
Okay, so I had a couple questions where we were going through this. Did you ever find out if we can appropriate more funds to different, like I was speaking to you about?
Yes, I did look into it. I had a conversation with the mayor and our attorney, and again, I was directed towards the RAP meetings that you all had. That is the more appropriate place for that to happen, instead of with the GEMT funds, but the casino and the dispensary funds is the more appropriate route, is the direction that I got.
My question is, can it be directed towards the way I wanted it to be or not?
Towards infrastructure, you are legislators, you could do whatever, you can bring that up for vote. I'll give that to Stu.
So just to be clear about kind of what the narrow aspect of this ordinance is, and then we can talk about what your question is the GEMT funds are a specific reimbursement program that is paid for by the federal government out of Medicaid. It's administered by the state, and it ensures that for ambulance runs for patients that receive Medicaid, that the city receives full reimbursement. As you can imagine, when someone is transported by our fire department to a hospital and they have health insurance, the insurance company will pay for it. Given the economic profile of a number of the folks who are serviced in Waukegan by our fire department, we have a large percentage of transports who only have Medicaid as their health insurance. By participating in the GMET program, it ensured that the city was not taking on the cost of these transports and disproportionately bearing the cost of these. So what this ordinance does is it says that, and we've been participating in this program since, Chief of Staff said 2017 or 2019? 2019. And Chief Pazer can talk about a little bit more about it. But the idea is that now that these funds have been coming in, that the City Council would establish an actual policy that these funds would be used specifically for the replacement schedule of vehicles used by the fire department as part of these transport and part of these response. And so that would include ambulances and engines.
And I'm sorry, Alderman, that was another part that was another question I had to give to the chief was about the replacement schedule, and he said he'd come and be able to speak more on that also, if you wanted that.
Okay, so my issue isn't about the $300,000 going to the replacement of ambulance or equipment. That's not the issue. Okay, so it was estimated at around $2 million, what I was told. So what I basically was wondering if, either because, okay, so since it's 2 million, so 300,000 would go for replacement. I figured another 200,000 could stay with the fire, and they could move it around for infrastructure needs. So they won't have to come up and every so often to ask for money for infrastructure. There, you got $200,000 for any fire house to do whatever's needed on an infrastructure basis. And then I would also see another 500,000 of that and make it a cool 500,000 and go and move that to police and fire pensions to get closer to our goal of 20. Well, I think it was 2050 to become 80% funded, if I remember correct.
2040?
2040, and then the other million would go into the general fund.
That would be a astute question for advisement on that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I would say is that even with the ordinance as written, that it is strictly kind of a statement of policy. You cannot formally appropriate beyond the current fiscal year. So one of the things that we wanted to do by this ordinance was there are two things that would actually become legally effective right now, which was changing the fund name and doing a budget amendment to put $300,000 from this year's budget from the general fund into the fire training and apparatus fund. For future years, this is more of just a policy statement. So could that policy statement be amended in the way that Alderman Guzman is suggesting? Yes, it could, if there's a consensus. Keep in mind that this is a statement that is kind of just a guiding principle. And every year when you vote on the appropriation and the budget, you would make a decision whether or not to abide by that, which is a legislative determination that you make every single year.
That's why I wanted to put this in there. So basically wait until budget comes in there so it won't be moved around, and just for that purposes, because it seems like sometimes there's money coming in and then it's appropriated for one thing and then they grab the money and move it to somewhere else. I wanted actually to go to, like I said, try to get closer to the pension by 2040, get a little closer to it, add 500,000 to that, and the $200,000 for infrastructure for all fire buildings.
Is that something that we can discuss at a committee of the whole? Because this amendment is for this budget.
Yes. No, I mean, we can wait until May or whenever April, I'm sorry, and put it in that, but I would really like the writing in there.
Okay, that's something I think that we can put into the committee of the whole. Is that okay with the other aldermen? Discussion regarding that? And it's my understanding if these funds don't come in, then they don't get put into this line.
That's correct. The way this is written is that it says that the first 300,000 that are actually received would be put into this, into the fire training and apparatus fund. Any funds received above that would be put into the general fund, or if Alderman Guzman, what he is proposing, if the city council decides to adopt that, there would kind of be a waterfall of the funds. But all of that is completely contingent upon actually receiving the funds. And, you know, if the federal government decides to end this program, or if they want to reduce the amount of the actual reimbursement, it's all based on what actually comes in. It's not a guaranteed appropriation.
Understood.
And is the money, how much have we gotten so far? Do we know on this?
Don has that figure. Oh, you had that.
Has it just been going into the general fund?
Yes, ma'am, general fund, and so far, Don, I'm going to take a stab here and say upwards of 5 or 6 million.
Please remember that 50% goes, oh, that, I know that's above and beyond, but 50% goes to the state. So for every dollar we get, 50 cents goes to the state.
Correct.
But that is up above and beyond. That was, the chief just stated, that's our portion. City of Waukegan's portion
Correct.
from this.
So we can move this forward and then amend it in April to make the changes. Because like I said, we need to get a little closer for these pension funds, for these police and fire.
Okay, I'd like to add that to the committee of the whole. I believe that we have December 11th for discussion because I think all the other aldermen need to be a part of the decision that we make. So if we can add this item, appreciate it. Any other questions regarding this? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank Motion carried. Item E, an ordinance levying and assessing taxes of the city of Waukegan, Lake County, Illinois, for the 2023 tax year levy. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item F, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $278,000 due in payment of principal and interest on the $7,005,000 general obligation bond, Series 2015A of the City of Waukegan. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
I second.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Bolton. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton, Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item G, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $671,000 due in payment of principal and interest on the $6,850,000 general obligation bond, Series 2016A of the City of Waukegan. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Bolton. Any questions to this motion?
Can I just
Alderman
ask Don a
Florian.
question? Yeah, thank you. So Don, this bond was taken out in 2016 for $7 million, right? And it was for street improvement, correct? And can you tell me how much we ended up paying in total for this? Well, it's the principal plus interest, correct? And so this now pays this off in full, correct? For this year, pays off. Okay. Okay, so we still have more principal and interest to pay going forward.
At the end of this year, we will have $82 million in outstanding.
I apologize. Can you speak in the mic, please?
At the end of this fiscal year, we'll have $82,660,000 in outstanding bonded debt. Of that, we will abate, that is, we'll identify sources other than property taxes to pay off $58 million, or 70% of the debt will be paid off by sources other than property taxes. This year alone, we'll be paying off $8 million in debt, $5 million sources other than property taxes, a little over 60%. So you can see, we'll be paying off debt until the year, I think it's 2037. 70% of that will never see the tax rolls. It'll be paid off by home rule sales taxes and by the McGaw Park TIF.
Right, but my point is, when we borrow money to pave roads, it costs us more than the face value of the loan, the bond. And if it's a bond that takes us 30 years to pay off, we're going to be paving that road again before the bond is paid off, correct? Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Any other questions?
Ordinarily, our GO bonds have gone out for 15 years. They're doing for streets last 10 years. So you're paying them for a longer period of time. then the street lasts.
Yeah, 15. Any other questions? Roll call.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item H, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $1,067,100 due in payment in principal and interest on the $14,860,000 general obligation bond, Series 2018A of the City of Waukegan. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian. Second.
Seconded.
Second by Alderman Hayes. Any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item I, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $1,003,600 due in payment in principal and interest on the $12,815,000 general obligation bond, Series 2021A McGaw Park TIF project. Can I get a motion on the floor?
I so moved. My second.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Bolton. Any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item J, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $1,998,330 due in payment of principal and interest on the $31,180,000 taxable general obligation bond, Series 2021B, McGaw Park TIF project. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian,
Seconded.
second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item K, a resolution authorizing the procurement of ballistic vest from Ray O'Haron Company, Inc. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Hayes,
Second.
second by Alderman Florian. The Waukegan Police Department is seeking the approval to accept the request for proposals, RFP response from Ray O'Haron Company, Inc., for the purpose of entering into a 36-month agreement to purchase ballistic vests. The agreement with Ray O'Haron Company, Inc. is to purchase ballistic vests for our police officers. Vests would be purchased annually for existing police officers and as needed for new hire officers. Purchases made for existing police officers will be made on a 5-year cycle. This 5-year cycle coincides with the product warranty period provided by most ballistic vest manufacturers, as well as the time period allowed for by the Bulletproof Vest Partnership grant currently being received. The BVP grant allows for reimbursement of up to half the cost of the purchase of a new ballistic vest, with the remaining balance paid by the city. We average approximately 35 vest purchases a year. I have a motion on the floor. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item L, a resolution authorizing a good faith waiver and approving the procurement of office furniture for various departments of the City of Waukegan from Rework LLC. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian,
Seconded.
second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion? Since April 2023, the city has taken strides to improve outdated workstations for their employees. To date, updated ergonomic desks and chairs have been installed in the water billing department, the city clerk's office, and risk management. The updated furniture will help alleviate long-term range of motion issues for staff and assist with bolstering employee productivity. To continue with this project, we are asking for new workstations for the remaining City Hall departments and the Water Department. The current workstations original to the building and, wait a minute. The current workstations original to the building and now over 2 decades old are showing signs of wear and tear, impacting both the comfort and efficiency, of our staff. The proposed ergonomic workstations equipped with sit and stand functions aim to address these concerns by providing adaptable and health-conscious workspaces. Sit and stand functions will afford the employee the ability to adjust the desk to the correct height for their own body. Funding for this initiative is available in both the capital fund and the water and sewer fund, and the estimated total cost of $395,000 aligns with our budgetary allocations. Funding for the workstations in City Hall will be charged to line item 307-130726368, and funding for the workstations for the water plant will be charged to line item 555-9155-26498. Are there any questions?
I have a question. I'm understanding
Alderman
instead of,
Bolton.
thank you. Instead, this is done by project, Chief? Can you elaborate? Instead of done by individual contracts, it's done as a group project?
Yes. Prior to us approving the last purchasing policy that you just approved, this was something that you all had requested. It has changed from per vendor to per project. So what you had asked us to do is that when we do go out and have a project that we're going to do in any one department, that we try to combine them. So that's what happened. They wanted to get the furniture done in a few more offices. You have already approved some of the offices prior to the purchasing policy being changed. So once this one came up, Bob, our risk manager, sat with finance. They reached out to all the different departments, asked everyone who is in need of having their material changed out, and that is what we came to, just to follow what we had stated to you with the purchasing policy. By project, we don't want to do multiple bids from the same vendor if we can get one bid for the same type of project.
Now, I understand this was updated, what, 30 years ago or something like that?
We just updated with the purchasing policy. This is the first time that you have approved a purchasing policy. Prior to this, it was just an internal policy. Is that correct, Finance? It was just an internal policy, and after consulting with the mayor and the attorneys, you approved the first purchasing policy.
Furniture, some of it
Oh, I'm
hasn't been
sorry.
replaced since,
30 years.
Maybe
Correct.
that's what I was hearing on the
yeah.
recording.
Correct. Hasn't been approved since the building was built.
When was that?
2004.
Oh.
2003, 4, yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Next, item 3 is reports and communications. We have, does anybody have any questions on our reports, items? We have a little sheet from the finance director as well. So if there's not any questions, can I take a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Guzman to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:49. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can I have the alderman, please, up at there on the dais?
Alderman Felix.
Okay, it is now 7 o'clock, and we're going to start the city council meeting. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Hayes.
Present.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Guzman.
Present.
Alderman Martinez.
Present.
Alderman Felix.
Present.
Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
Present.
You have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you. The invocation will be given this evening by Pastor Percy Johnson from the New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you so very much for the invitation to be here to say something about the Lord. I do want to pose a question as we prepare our minds and hearts for prayer tonight. I want to share something in a question posed to the church this past week, and then I'm going to pose it to you tonight. And the question is, what more would you do with your life if you were not afraid? It's just a passing thought. What more would you do with your life if you were not afraid? Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, we come before your very presence, thanking you, first of all, for waking us up again and keeping us all day long up to right now. We thank you, Lord, for this Waukegan Township, Waukegan City Council meeting tonight. And we ask you to bless this body, this assembly, Lord, as they prepare to discuss and to make decisions concerning all of the constituents of Waukegan. We pray now that you will bless them, bless the families that they represent. And then, Lord, because it's Thanksgiving, let us all realize in our hearts and our minds that we all have something to be thankful for. We thank you for just waking us up this morning. We thank you for putting clothes on our back. We thank you for food to eat. We just thank you for all of your goodness that you've shown to us. But now, Lord, as we go into this meeting, we invite your very presence to be with us, go with us, guide us. And it's in his name that I pray, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Again, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. As we know, this is the week of Thanksgiving. Before we get started, I will start off with some sad news. For those of you who do not know, Mayor Glenn Ryback, who is the village president of the village of Wadsworth, passed away yesterday. We send his family our deepest condolences. I think, like many of us in this room, we were very shocked and surprised to learn of this information this morning. We don't really have any more details. For those of you who would like to attend any services, please keep your eye on social media. But I do want to say that this has been a sad day for us at the City of Waukegan, and I just want to reach out to his family and offer our condolences. Thanksgiving is on Thursday, and each of us in this room has various things to be thankful for this year. But I want to take this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to our professional staff here at City Hall and throughout the city. Whether it's working on our budgets so that we do not raise our taxes, repairing and updating our roads, or our first responders who work to keep us safe, I'm extremely grateful for the work that this city does and for the staff that we have. We have an amazing group of people at this city, and I want to just say thank you and how grateful I am for each and every one of you. Congratulations to the Waukegan Township for receiving the 2023 Innovative Senior Program of the Year, the Best in the State Award from the Township officials of Illinois. The award was given for their hard work and dedication in providing creative, innovative, and impactful services and programs. Congratulations to the YCC members, Stephen Haven, Jaden, and Jeanette, for being selected to join other young leaders at the 35th Annual Youth Build USA AmeriCorps Conference of Young Leaders. They were presented with the full breadth and impact of Youth Build's global movement rooted in leadership, service, education, and job skills training, and came back with new ideas on how to be leaders in our community. For those of you who haven't seen, we're already starting our holiday decoration. Both the Genesee Theater and Three Brothers Theaters have holiday shows. The Waukegan Park District has several holiday events for children and families, and mark your calendars for Saturday, December 2nd, for the Kris Kringle Market, the Winter Wonderland Walk, and the tree lighting and photos with Santa. This year, the city is partnering with the Waukegan Public Library, Waukegan Main Street, the Waukegan Chamber of Commerce, and the Waukegan Park District to make the day magical, especially for our children. Find information about these events and more on the city calendar at waukeganil.gov. Tonight, I want to introduce you to some special young ladies out here. It's my pleasure to introduce our reigning Waukegan queens, Little Miss Waukegan, Nicole Alvarado. You want to stand up? Yes. Junior Miss Waukegan, Junior Miss Lake County is Melanie Matinos, and Teen Miss Waukegan and Teen Miss Lake County is Natalia Alvarez. Miss Waukegan is Eliza Patlin, and she is currently at college majoring in, listen to this, environmental science and political science. The girls competed in the Lake County pageant last week, and two of our Waukegan queens won the Lake County titles, too. Like most of our queens here in Waukegan, well, let me paraphrase that again and say all of our queens that I've ever seen, this year you will learn so much. You'll become so poised. It is just a pleasure to have you here tonight, and thank you for coming. Lastly, outside of our staff and elected officials here in Waukegan, we have many positions that need volunteers, including the Planning and Zoning Board, the Library Board, Waukegan Housing Authority, Historical Preservation Committee, and the Community Development Block Grants, also known as CDBG. These volunteers' roles are essential to the operations of our hometown. If you want to volunteer your time in public service to your neighbors, please contact my office by emailing mayor.taylor@waukeganil.gov. Speaking of the Housing Authority, I'm proud to announce the reappointment of 3 of Waukegan's volunteer public servants to the Waukegan Housing Authority. I want to thank,
Mayor, I'd like to table that for 2 weeks.
so you want to hold it over, not table, correct?
Hold it over
Hold it over?
for 2
Okay.
weeks.
I'll second that.
Okay. So that, for the alderman, if you have an alderman hold something over, unless there's a 2/3 majority to overturn that, it is held over until the next city council meeting. Is that okay with everyone, to hold it over?
I just like to know, what's the reasoning behind that, holding it over?
Alderman Guzman?
Well, we need to advertise it more so we can get more people into these boards, different. I'd like to see what else is out there, because not a lot of people know these boards and commissions are up for appointment, so I'd like to see what else is out there. If not, we can move forward.
I agree
it
with
over.
that. I think we should all be involved in, or at least have the opportunity to announce to our constituents that the positions are available for appointment, so we can get more input.
I will say we have been announcing it, and it is on our website, but if you would like to hold that over, that's fine. Any other questions?
Well, can you briefly say what the housing, what that board does?
Sure. The Housing Authority is not part of the city per se, but they run the Waukegan Housing Authority, the actual, properties. So that board does not report to us per se. We do appointments on it, but actually, I think I will have Alderman Martinez talk on that, because you've been on the board, am I correct?
Once the Waukegan Housing Authority Commissioner, basically what we do is we come together and we try to do what's best for the Waukegan Housing. Actually, who can speak better for me would be Pastor Commissioner Guerrera. If you wouldn't mind coming up here, can we give him a moment?
Is it okay from the council to give the pastor? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Guerrera, Jesus Guerrera is a current commissioner that has been for over 5 years now. So.
Good evening, Alderman, Mayor, and audience. I'm a commissioner for the Waukegan Housing Authority. I'm in my second term. And basically what the Waukegan Housing Authority does is we, work alongside the executive director for the implementation of our strategic and tactical plans. If you look, if you drive through the expressway that we have here down the road, right when it ended on this side of the street, you see a new development that is changing the face of public housing, a new development that is changing the face of Waukegan, and that is what the Waukegan Housing Authority does. As part of that, we're also redoing all of our other sites, including Armory Terrace on Macquarie Road. The appointments that are in question today are of people that have been vested in this community. One is Ms. Eleanor Murky. Ms. Eleanor Murky is a legend in this community. She has served, currently serves as our chairman of the board, but also serves as the chairman of the board of VISTA, the board of trustees. The College of Lake County that inaugurated a building a few months ago, the fourth floor of that college is named after Ms. Eleanor Murky. In addition to the responsibilities that we have, because I know that is the question, we oversee the budget, we looked at the budget, we vote on new proposals, and everything is federally funded by HUD, monitored by HUD, and, ensure that, we're doing our due diligence when it comes to, the beautification of our sites. Right now, I believe it was a year ago when we inaugurated the new development there. And energy efficient, designer type of houses. It's just a beautiful place where people in our community can live. So I'll be more than glad to, sit with the aldermen on a one-to-one basis if they want to know a little bit more of what we do. But these reappointments are important so that the Housing Authority could continue to fulfill its vision.
How many board members are there?
Right now, it's myself, Ms. Murky, Ms. Overton, Ms. Kitty, which is a resident, so part of the board is also that a resident of the Housing Authority is part of, our board.
Yeah, that was my next question. How many residents are on the boards?
Yeah.
Just one?
And that person is selected also by the residents, and is very invested in bringing, the programs and the things that we need.
I have a question. Could you tell me how many years together the commissioners? I know Eleanor Murky has been there for how many years now?
Man, you could Google her right now. I mean, I was just looking at her, and I think it's over. Miss Murky has been in this community for over 30 years. She is. I'm sorry. Oh, on the board. I've been on the board for 2 terms, and she's been the chairman of the board for those 2 terms that I've been there, and each term is 4 years. So.
Thank you.
Mayor, I just have a question. When are these terms up, and will the board be without a quorum if we don't approve these members?
Answer that, or you want me to answer that?
No, I mean, we don't want to hamstring their ability to operate, and if we're holding up the reappointment of 3 members, I want to make sure that they have a quorum and the Housing Authority Board can actually operate. I'm fairly certain this caught everybody off guard, so just want to make sure they're able to still do their job.
Absolutely, thank you.
Is the term up the end of December? Is it at the end of the year? Are their terms up?
I believe
December
they
to
stay on
Dec-
until the reappointments happen.
Yeah.
So they would not be without a quorum per se. They stay on until they're reappointed.
Right.
But
It looks like it started in September.
Right.
So she's they're a little late.
yeah. And that's because I was asking for people, and there was only one other resume that came in. But we have been asking since August. Actually, July was when I first put out a request for anybody. So, like I said, we have asked.
I'm not sure that I see the purpose of holding it over for 2 weeks, and what's going to get accomplished in 2 weeks? Maybe you can help me out there.
Well, everybody could start putting it on their pages and get more people involved in this, and not the same over and over and over again. If nobody applies, then okay, but nobody can say that we are not trying to change here, okay? That we're not trying to put the same people on these boards over and over and over again for 20, 10, whatever years there is. It's time.
That is,
It doesn't matter. It's my turn. Thank you. Okay? So this is how it's going to work.
Wow, Pastor Jurina.
Okay.
Pastor Jurina.
May I ask a question?
May I ask?
And then I'll let you say something. Okay. Alderman Bolton?
So advocating his suggestion, just for our constituents and the public, what are the qualifications to be on this board?
First and foremost, you have to be a resident of Waukegan. First and foremost, you have to be a resident of Waukegan. You have to then submit a resume to the mayor, and then you go through a process of interview with the chairman of the board, with the executive directors, and then after that, then it's decided if you make it into that board.
Thank you. That explained the process, but what are the qualifications?
So, in terms of the qualifications, one is you be a resident of the community, be involved in community work, just something that you're doing for the community, have some sort of experience in terms of, dealing with issues of housing and allowing people to remain in their community. But other specific qualifications, we can go into the HUD website, which is the main funder for this. Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Actually, I looked up the qualifications. I thought it just says only to be a resident, and that's it. No other qualifications are needed. So,
Right, that's on the website, but when you go through the
Oh, there you
process of interview, just being a resident, that's one qualification, but, we go a step further just to make sure that the people that are selected into this, that is board.
So basically,
are
you go-
invested in this. You're gonna allow me to finish, or you're gonna interrupt me? Okay. The people who are in this community are vested and are looking for the best interests of the individuals that live in our housing authority.
so resident number one, second, then it goes to the mayor to decide if she wants to put that portion on the board, and then a third, then you need the majority, which is 5 votes of the city council to approve that appointee, or other than that, it does not happen.
And you have to submit a resume, you have to do a statement of economic interest like, we have to do for any, volunteer work that you do in government, so.
Correct.
But I think, one of the things that we don't want to overlook is the work that we have done already in this community, and the beautification and allowing people to stay in this community, to live in a beautiful apartment, to have, access to, just amazing. I mean, if you haven't driven by yet, I would encourage you to do it to see how that's looking. And then all of that is like copy and paste in all of our other projects. So, the work that this housing authority does for our community is amazing.
So the new generation could do the same thing or even better.
Okay. Alderman Turner, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I still didn't get an answer on how many board members there are, but it sounds like there's 4 or 5, but only one from one resident of the housing authority. Would it make sense to have more than one person? You got, board of 5, 1 of 5 lives in housing. It would seem to me you want more input from those who live in the housing. And then just a comment, and that is, it's been reported to me or mentioned to me by several people who live in the Barwell projects and others in the community that the condition or the structure of those projects, the new construction, is subpar. There's cracks in the ceilings, cracks in the walls, and other issues pertaining to structural integrity, probably or supposedly, allegedly caused by the proximity to the railroad tracks. Trains are going by there all the time, and it's, so anyway, I just wanted to raise that as maybe something you might not be aware of because you only have one person that lives in the housing. Thank you.
Can I ask who's the person who lives in the housing?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Who is the resident that lives in the housing?
Ms. Kate?
And your name is? I'm sorry, I never met you.
Yeah.
She's on the sheet. She's one of the individuals you're seeking to table.
Okay, that's fine.
Did you have questions for her, or?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So 2 weeks?
2 weeks, unless there's, like I said,
Can I make a motion that we go ahead and try to override the holdover, just to see what happens? So we can get these people appointed?
and we need 5 for that, or 7?
6.
Okay.
Two-thirds of the, just for the audience's edification, the Waukegan Code has a provision that any city council member can hold over any piece of legislation that is up for consideration, which would include a legislative action to confirm the the mayor's appointment for 2 weeks unless there is a 2/3 vote to move ahead on the present night. So there is a motion from Alderman
Second.
Florian, a second by Alderman Hayes.
Okay, I guess roll call,
Please
please.
clarify, what is on the floor?
This
So-
is a, sorry, ma'am.
Go ahead.
This is a motion to overrule the holdover and to vote on these appointments tonight. Yay overrules and has the voting tonight. Nay, it waits for 2 weeks.
And I understand this has been out since August.
It's actually been talked about since July. I brought this up in mayor's comments, and it's on our website.
We're not in mayor's comments. We're in resolutions, proclamations, and appointments.
Yeah.
Alderman Donilworth. Alderman Donilworth?
No.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye, because I know that is in my ward and I am familiar with the board, I say aye.
Alderman Guzman.
No.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Alderman Felix.
Nay.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
No.
Noes have it.
Override the items 2A, B, and C.
Will be held over. Okay. Yes. The recognition of Chris Segrin, we are holding over until the December meeting. There was a issue that she couldn't be here tonight, so we will hold that open till December. Audience time.
Okay, we have a few people here tonight. The first group of people, I'll call the first five: Andrea Woods, Andrea Moore, Shanika Williams, Clyde McLemore, Matt Sheehan. Andrea Woods, Andrea Moore, Shanika Williams, Clyde McLemore, Matt Sheehan. So go right ahead and state your name, and I will set the timer. Go ahead.
My name is Andrea Woods, and I would like you to picture in your mind a loved one, a mother, a father, a grandparent, as I share with you this evening. On November 8th, I received a call from my mother who was crying and needed medical attention. When I arrived, I was blocked from entering her driveway because unfortunately it was almost dismissal time at the West Campus. Cars were lined up on Lynn Terrace blocking the driveways. I had to get out of my car to ask the person to move because I needed to get to my mother. Finally able to pull into our garage, another car zipped into the vacated space, once again blocking the driveway. Now I can't get out. Again, I get my mother in the car, I back up, I have to ask this person to again move their car because they are blocking the driveway and we needed to go. My mother, Patricia, is an 80-year-old retired Waukegan public school teacher. She and my father, Ronnie, who was raised here, have made Waukegan their home and place of employment for almost 60 years. Last week, while I was home helping my mom post-surgery, driveways were again blocked, so I called the police. A traffic officer was immediately dispatched, and upon arrival, streets began to clear, but not without great effort on his part. It was suggested that I contact our alderperson, Mr. Juan Martinez, which I did, as well as I walked down to my alma mater and asked administration for their assistance in reminding parents and students of the proper pickup procedure. In the Code of Ordinances, City of Waukegan, Chapter 21, Article 3, Division 1, Section 21, 116, entitled Parking Prohibited in Specified Places, subsection A2, in front of a public or private driveway or upon any driveway apron. My understanding of the city's code is that it is illegal to block residents' driveways. My understanding of laws and ordinances is that they apply 24 hours a day to all of us. Something needs to change. My mother is on the mend. My family is blessed. It wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't a stroke. Those situations, every second counts. Seconds were wasted with my having to get in and out of a car, asking people to move their vehicles when all they had to do was travel a little bit further up the street to properly park and wait for their child. Part of the City of Waukegan's mission is for elected officials and employees to work to enhance the quality of life of their residents. There are times when my mother has been given the finger, harassed, and at times she can't even get to her own home. She schedules her day 9 months out of the year around this traffic torture. How is any of that enhancing her quality of life? I would respectfully ask this esteemed City Council to honor your mission statement to those people at
Thank you.
Terrace, Leaf, and
Thank you,
Tiffany.
Ms. Woods. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrea Moore.
Hello, Council. My name is Andrea Moore. I was once affiliated Waukegan by residents with the Barwell location. I am someone who consider myself a tenant organizer, and in doing those activities which are protected under HUD, I have been retaliated against by the Waukegan Housing Authority Commissioners, the managers and or directors, as well as the City of Waukegan and Waukegan Police. I say that because I've been arrested 3 times now for criminal trespass when I continue to support the tenants who are continuing to live there and struggle with the unreasonable and very illegal treatment. I have gotten 2 not guilty verdicts, and recently, again, there was a warrant out for my arrest, so I had to turn myself in, and that's something that I'm currently going through again. As some of you may remember, on October 16th, I personally requested consideration for the board knowing some of the allegations I just made. And instead of actually, I guess, being taken seriously, considered by the mayor, she never responded to me. In fact, again, on the 16th, I gave a letter to her personally, asking her to consider me. On October 24th, I followed up with email, as well as November 8th. It wasn't until 4 days ago that George Bridges responds. Dear Ms. Moore, Andrea Moore, sorry for the delay. We are grateful for your interest in joining the Waukegan Housing Authority Board. We appreciate the desire of volunteers like you to support our collective commitment to providing safe, affordable, and accessible housing, which is a priority to the mayor and elected officials. Unfortunately, we regret to inform you that we will not be appointing you to Waukegan Housing Authority Board at this time. However, we appreciate your interest and encourage you to explore other available boards that can further assist our city towards successful progress. Additionally, the ordinance guiding the Waukegan Housing Authority Board is, there's a link. Please get in touch with the Executive Director, Charles Chambers, for further questions about the many beneficial programs or board meetings. Thank you for your time and interest in serving our community, George Bridges. According to your ordinances, this is out of scope. I have still not received a response, but they're ready to reappoint people who have been on the board and boasted about it, I guess, throughout, local media for upwards of 20 years. 20 years, while a lot of you have actually started to experience the residual, like the ripple effect of what happens when people go neglected. Behind me is Shanika Williams. Her son was illegally arrested by one of Waukegan's finest. He has illegally evicted her as well now. How did it happen? Sergeant Amon has knocked on this woman's door. I was there, right? He gave me a pass that day. I'm a trespasser normally, but some days and some days not do I get arrested for helping people. He just wanted her gone. They even gave her a little bit of change to do it, while people didn't focus on the fact that she has a civil suit because Eric Reinhardt wouldn't actually charge the officers with their illegal conduct. But I am, again, 3 times now going to court for criminal trespass. Why? Because I've approached state or federal funded land.
Shanika Williams.
Yes. I'm right to Williams, Mom. And I don't really have real much to say, but me and my son and kids is homeless right now. Officer Josh offered me money to move. They accused of everything, but they denied accused that the man was going through our window, the officer was going through our windows and watching us. But right now, me and my kids is everywhere and everywhere. I just need somewhere for me and my kids to go right now. And then when I do go to court for his lawsuit, something that they don't have nothing to do with, y'all don't have to bring that up about whatever he have to going on, about what they did to him at school. Yes, they did falsely my son or shoot someone at Dollar General, and it wasn't him because he was at the basketball game. I didn't raise them kids up that way. I didn't. I'm a single parent. I don't play ball, but I will play ball with you. I will play ball with you. I can't do it, but I can do it. But at this point, I can't be your daddy. I can't hold your penis for you either, but I can tell you what to do with it. But I can't just let nobody sit here and just tell me how to treat my kid and how not to treat my kid. And y'all just gave me my kids somewhere not to live for no reason. Also, Josh is the reason why I don't have nowhere to go. Because he the main reason that he got my son about the school and then I called me. And then it was the same one in my window, my house window. I've been homeless. Me and my kids been homeless since September 21st. And this is devastated because I don't know what's going to happen next and what's going to happen after that. Ain't nobody did nothing. Ain't nobody said nothing to me about anything.
Thank you, ma'am. Clyde McLemore.
I agree with you, Alderman Guzman, about people getting appointed on the boards. However, this administration finally got it right on one issue. The reappointment of Eleanor Murphy, Michelle Orger, and Katie Harden of the Waukegan Housing Board. These board members have worked diligently to get funding that the Bartwell projects got that funding. They had to travel to other states, argue with investors. For 2 years, they ran around the country to get funding. Not only should they be appointed, they should be applauded. All these women have done, all of what these women have done, not only should they be reappointed, they should be applauded. Okay. Oh, they are black, and the city can't give no money from them. They should have got the Waukegan Proud Award. But they got the money to rebuild the South Side. Do this administration think these women should be honored? The city gives these awards to the white groups who really do nothing for the black community. Mayor, when will you understand the heart of this city? How many black employees have you fired or replaced them with white employees who really don't have the interest in the city? Mayor, why is it that your city trying to grab money from these downtown businesses like a mafia boss? You make them pay for their license, which is understandable, then you fine them. Why award them license if you don't want them there? I didn't say nothing, but you made a small business downtown shut down for 45 days for a fight that happened on Washington Street. They fought for their license, and now they have to pay $20,000 to the city legal fees, which the city attorney is on payroll. You are the only mayor in my 20-year history of coming to this city council meeting made a business pay for the city attorney fees. This is the same attorney that helped Stretch Bar and Grill with their legal issues, now on city payroll, but this small business had to pay his attorney fee for the city, and he's on the city payroll. And if you think I'm lying, look at the money run.
Matt Sheehan.
Good evening. My name is Matt Sheehan. I'm the president of Waukegan Firefighters Local 473, and I represent the 115 members of your city's firefighter union. In the past, Mayor, our local has been one of your earliest supporters for both your alderman campaigns and your mayoral campaign. You told us that you agreed with our assertion that the city of Waukegan needs 29 firefighters on shift each day to adequately provide fire and EMS service to the residents, workers, businesses, and visitors. In 2020 and 2021, you told us that we would be supported in the upcoming contract negotiations, that you would help contractually increase our minimum daily staffing to 29 firefighters. Instead, we agreed to no increase in our minimum staffing during those negotiations. While we understand that is the nature of negotiations and we don't always get what we want, you were absent from those meetings. You did not drop in to say, hello, thanks for everything you do. Let's work together to find solutions to our concerns. You offered no support to us in any way. On November 15th of this year, I contacted your office to discuss the suspension and termination of a member of the fire department. I did not receive a call back from your office for nearly 48 hours. An hour after that call from your office, I received a phone call from Chief of Staff Bridges. He explained you would not meet with me in private, so I'm here this evening. If you had a situation of paramount importance to you in your dealings with our union, I would not hesitate to take your calls, and I would not have my vice president make contact with you. I certainly would not refuse any outreach. Your disrespect of Local 473 leadership and its members is noted. However, we will continue to support our community and show up when our services are needed and requested, because that is the type of people we are. We just wish we had the support of your administration when it's not campaign time or September 11th. Thank you.
The next group of people will be Lakeisha Robinson, Brother Blanks, Margaret Carrasco, and Mr. Rayon Edwards. Lakeisha Robinson, Brother Blanks, Margaret Carrasco, and Rayon Edwards. Go right ahead, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Lakeisha Robinson, Barwell tenant, organizer. Like Andrea previously stated before, 3 trespass. I'm currently fighting the trespass as well. Not only that, 3 other criminal charges because one of the commissioners decided to lie and run around with false allegations. All I wanted to do was prove my cockroach infestation, and I was lied on. And now I'm facing those criminal charges in Lake County Courthouse. I'm at work and I discovered I have a warrant out for my name, so I had to leave work immediately and turn myself in. While I was trying to prove my cockroach infestation and fighting these criminal charges, my son was hospitalized. He has asthma. We don't have to go to the hospital. He has a nebulizer at home. But however, because the bacteria in the air from the cockroaches, his asthma, it gradually exacerbated. There's no 24-hour unit, pediatric unit in Lake County. I had to drive 30 miles away to get the care that my son needed while fighting these criminal charges. This is why we ask y'all to please take a look at these commissioners. They need to be reappointed. They old and their education outdated.
Thank you. Brother Blanks.
Brother Blanks, Black Abolition Movement for the Mind. This is letters from the city of Waukegan and Chief of Police Edgardo Chief Navarro, and there's a Commander Brian Bradford. Mr. Blanks, the letter is to advise you that the investigation into the complaint you filed against a member of the Waukegan Police Department, Oliver, on 09/18/23 has been completed. The allegations were investigating the office supervisor, reviewed by the Office of Professional Standard. A careful examination of the available evidence was conducted. After reviewing the evidence, the complaint you filed is not sustained. The Waukegan Police Department, I'm gonna just stop right there. The bottom line, the escalating officer in which I filed a complaint against, which this went out over the which it went out over this city, it was abundantly clear that this particular officer escalated the situation and placed not only the citizens' lives in danger, but his fellow officers. Mayor, I really could say, well, since it's the police chief, that we will stop there. But what we've heard the complaints here tonight, your police department affects every aspect of this city. And since this is the county seat, your police department affects this county as a whole. So what I'm saying, man, with the complaints that we heard here tonight as to how some of the members of this community is treated, whether it's in the community, whether it's in the housing, Mayor, I have to tell you, it do not stop at Chief Navarro, okay? Not at all. We know that the police union is a big voting bloc. We know that the school board is a big voting bloc. They have big push. But what I'm going to say, Mayor, respectfully, he is the chief. He's just a figure here. I'm not, no disrespect. We know who run the police department between the FOP and the unions. Let's keep it a buck. Now, he's the police chief, Mayor, but in this city, you are the commander-in-chief of this city. So all I'm saying, whatever we're going to do for some real accountability with the complaints that's coming through this city from every aspect of this city, what I've been pushing for, what I've been talking about, turn the power of accountability back over to the citizens with this Waukegan Civilian Officer Police Accountability. Let's catch up with the rest of the nation. We got to do this. We can't keep kicking this can down the road. It shouldn't take that long to conduct a feasibility investigation. I mean a feasibility study. We know it's feasible. It's time to make it happen. This is happening too much, too often, whether it's the Waukegan.
Thank you, Brother Blanks. Thank
gotta
you.
do this.
Margaret
It's time for it.
Carrasco.
Today, the city published the, in the Waukegan Police Department page about enforcement for DUIs, intoxication with Thanksgiving weekend, okay, and other violations. Really? If that's what we really want to do, that's the case, then Mayor, explain why on March 18th, when a 21-year-old young sailor disappeared and was unfortunately later found in Lake Michigan, a tragic event. Your narrative, Mayor, and the videos and everything that were released, published hundreds of times across the nation, was against this Waukegan bar, Ibiza, owned by a Latino, who you have been targeting since that incident, over and over again, insinuating about being overserved, intoxicated. Tonight, I'm here with the evidence to prove that was not the case. Instead, in fact, I would like to present and refer to Exhibit A, one of many documents of evidence. The exhibit is a copy of the victim's credit card transactions that night. You were given a copy of that, you knew about it, and you remained silent. And what this document shows that the victim was in Libertyville Bar before that, with close to $200 purchases of liquor. While at the Waukegan bar, it was just one. Something as important as that. Why did you remain silent? Why didn't you say the truth? Why did you cover up the truth? You never mentioned that. Mayor, you reside in the city of Libertyville. Mayor, you shop in Libertyville. Mayor, you dine in Libertyville. Mayor, you meet frequently with the residents of the Ninth Ward in Libertyville and don't care about people in Waukegan. Well then, Mayor, you need to run for mayor in Libertyville, not in Waukegan. You chose to hide the truth to the world, to Waukegan, cover up.
Thank you, Ms. Carrasco. Mr. Rayon
It's
Edwards.
just the beginning, sweetheart.
I be sad sometimes when I come up here to speak because of all the things that's going on in our community and the time that we spend fretting over certain things that just don't make no sense. As I'm talking about the HUD board tonight for the Waukegan Housing Authority, you know, we sit in this audience and we watch a lot of things, you know what I mean? I see a gentleman come up to you, Second Ward Alderman, you holds this over. Same gentleman go back there and apologize to them ladies. You know what I mean? Is we gonna keep playing games like this? Because you ain't never been down there in that complex to know anything about it, ever. And I've lived there my whole life. You've never been there, ever. But the alderman whose ward is in is sitting right next to you. You didn't even lean over there to ask her how she felt about it. That's what's disgusting to me. Young lady, I'm so sorry that you and your children is homeless. I'm sorry. And I'm going to reach out to you, but I'm going to say this to you publicly. When I tried to talk to you when that happened, you decided to deal with Black Lives Matter. Why they not helping you? Oh, I guess you can't make no more money. Y'all can't sue nobody no more for them to help for you to get a few dollars. See, this is what happens in our community. A lot of it. The same entity that said they wasn't going to touch it because they couldn't make no money. But they done got their little settlement, $200,000. Now y'all don't even know him no more. Not even Kevin, the great Kevin O'Connell. But we profit off the pains and suffering of our people. Who give a damn about our people? That's what I'm starting to understand. That's what I want to know. Who's out there really giving a damn about our people? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. Y'all are the professionals. And so now being smart or being prepared at a city council meeting, you a bully. It's getting so redundant. I wonder, did we even give some classes on how to conduct city business? Hell yeah, alderman time should be limited to 3 minutes. Ours is limited to 3 minutes. Y'all have access. Y'all can go meet with these people anytime you want to. You can meet with a department head. You can find out anything you want to know. And you get this agenda. So when you got questions, you got an opportunity to ask before you come to this meeting. And if you want to talk to your residents, that's why you do it in your community. You don't represent this whole city, sir. You represent the 2nd Ward. You represent the 4th Ward. Them is the residents you're supposed to speak for. I don't need you speaking for the 1st. Because you don't know a damn thing about the 1st. I'm sick of y'all incompetent tales. Do some real work, please.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, that concludes the audience time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I will give a couple minutes for anybody who would like to leave before we go on to city business. Okay, guys, if you're going to stay, you need to be quiet. Okay, on to item 4, consent agenda. Can I have a first and a second for the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Turner and Newsom. Anything need to be pulled out? We're good with this? Okay, item A, a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from Monday, November 6, 2023. Item B, a motion to approve the 2024 City Council meeting schedule. Item C, a motion to approve vendor payments dated November 20th, 23 in an amount of $1,721,765.89. Item D, a motion to approve a regular payroll dated November 17th, 2023 in a total amount of $886,172.19. Item E, a resolution approving a letter of understanding with the Service Employees International Union, SEIU Local 73, regarding a special stay agreement for the public safety dispatchers. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Item F, a motion to approve miscellaneous payroll, PD holiday payback, CT cash out, EO and CS retro pay and final payment payouts dated November 17th, 2023, and in a total amount of $41,866.78. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There being no reports or old business, under new business, would anybody like to make a motion to omnibus?
So moved.
Second.
Alderman
Alderman- excuse
Florian,
me.
second was Alderman
Mayor?
Newsom. Yes. Yes, any questions?
I'd like to make reference to old business.
Yes.
So
There
is
is
this
no-
the time?
Well, there is no old business.
I'll wait. Thank you.
Okay, we've got a first and a second on the omnibus. Anything need to be pulled out?
Yes, ma'am. If I may, I'd like to put out items A and L. Correction. A and K. A and K.
Okay. Okay. So with that being said, we're pulling out items A and K. Everything else is omnibus. Okay. Item B, an ordinance amending the City of Waukegan's annual budget for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2023, and establishing an appropriation policy for ground emergency medical transportation program funds. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. For audience members who don't know what this means that we get money for ambulance transportation. And we are going to be putting $300,000 each year aside to go towards buying a new vehicle for the fire department, whether it be an ambulance or fire truck, every other year. So that is money that generally right now can be put into the general fund, and that would be putting that amount for sure into that committee, or into that funding. So item C, an ordinance levying and assessing taxes of the City of Waukegan, Lake County, Illinois for the 2023 tax levy year. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. As you know, last time we had a public hearing on the zero increase in the tax levy. Item D, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $278,000 due in payment of principal and interest on the $7,005,000 general obligation bond series 2015A of the City of Waukegan. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Item E, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $671,000 due in payment of principal and interest on the $6,850,000 general obligation bond series from 2016A of the City of Waukegan. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Item E, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $1,067,100 due in payment of principal and interest on the $14,860,000 general obligation bond series 2018A of the City of Waukegan. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Item G, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $1,600,000 due to payment of principal and interest on the $12,815,000 general obligation bonds series from 2021A, the McGaw Park TIF project. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Item H, an ordinance abating in full the sum of $1,998,330 due in payment and principal, or payment of principal and interest on the $30 million, $180,000 taxable general obligation bond series 2021B, McGaw Park TIF project. This matter was presented in the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Item I, an ordinance amending Section 18-43 of the Code of Ordinances regarding the vacation of city-owned property. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Item J, a resolution authorizing the procurement of ballistic vests from Ray O'Haron Company, Inc. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Before I vote, if I could just ask, and I do apologize, Mayor, can I just ask the question, what happens to the old vests as they're replaced? How are they disposed of?
Get your answer directly. Okay.
The old vests are kept in storage for use. Just because they are out of warranty doesn't mean that they're fully expired. We can use them for replacement and backup vests, sir.
Great, thank you. And my vote is aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item A. Can I have a first and a second for item A?
First.
Second.
Hayes and Newsom. Before I read it, Alderman Turner, did you have something you wanted to ask or say?
Yes, ma'am, and I read the first question I had that came to mind was why the contract is being extended as opposed to renewed. Why not a new contract, which I think I know the answer to that, but maybe you can answer. Just tell me. Why an extension instead of a new contract?
You know, sometimes thank you, Alderman. Sometimes contract drafting is kind of more of an art than a science. And so when the terms of the contract are basically staying the same except for one or two terms, we will call it an extension, and we'll just kind of amend and extend. So it could have been a brand new contract, but it's another way of saying that we're not rewriting the whole contract.
Okay. Yeah, and I understand about contract writing, and certainly you're right, it's often an art more than a science. So
I mean, it could have been labeled either one. Okay.
My concern therein, though, was if it had been a new contract, then it might have gone out for bid, right? So I just want to make sure that we're not avoiding the bid process.
We are not avoiding the bid process.
All right, great. And then as I read through the attachment, because I was looking for what the spend was, how much is this going to cost us? And it says here that it's a 2-year extension, but the supporting documentation calls for $7,000 monthly payment. So that's not 2 years, that's a year and a half. And so it's just a slight discrepancy. Did you?
They are currently getting $7,000 a month. The contract will increase to $8,000 a month, $8,000 for each month.
That's not what was in the documentation.
Thomas, do you have that pulled up already?
Do you know which attachment that reference? I did include the previous years just to show the entirety of the relationship.
If I could add to that, if you look at the recording of the briefing, those indications are made in the video.
I can only go by what I read here just before the meeting started in attachment to the documents on board docs, and that's what it said: $7,000 payments, $7,000 payments. So this, obviously is a discrepancy, And I would like to hold this over until that discrepancy can be clarified and publicized. I don't have any objection to the extension. I'm not questioning, Cornerstone. I'm just suggesting that we clarify it.
It's in,
All right, I'm not going to hold this up. Let's go. I'll vote yes.
roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item K, can I have a first and a second?
First.
Alderman Florian, second.
Second?
Alderman Martinez. Alderman Turner, did you have questions to this one?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. So this is the one for purchasing of furniture. I had a couple of questions about this one, and I think I want to just go ahead and table it because we're spending $400,000 for replacement of furniture throughout City Hall and the Water Department, en masse, right? So I can understand where furniture gets old and there may be certain personnel who have a medical necessity for certain types of furniture, but I can't see spending $400,000 just because furniture is old. I don't think anyone, I'm sure there's some people who can just willy-nilly replace all the furniture in their homes. I'd like to do it myself, but I can't. So we replace furniture as needed. And that's what I'm suggesting, that if you have a need, physical need, where it's been evaluated by the medical insurance company, come in and do an assessment and say, hey, yeah, you're right, you need this thing. And then we buy the furniture. But just to go buy furniture, it's easy to spend other people's money. But if it were your money, my money, we wouldn't spend that kind of money to replace every stick of furniture in the house. So I'd like to table this one.
Okay.
Mayor, can I say something?
Yes, Alderman Florian.
Okay, as the only medical professional, spinal specialist on this city council, I would like to say these chairs suck. They are horrible for us. We need new chairs. Now, tonight, it's a miracle. It's only 8:08, and we're about to finish up, the meeting and start Alderman time, which sometimes can take an hour or two, depending on how it goes. But this is a short meeting. We've been here till 11 o'clock at night. I stand on my feet all day. I'm great. I come here and I sit in this chair for about 6 hours. I'm done. I'm done. These are terrible chairs. Alderman Donnerworth's chair won't stay up. It's always falling down. We need new equipment, not just for us, but the whole city. The furniture is 30 years old. I'm going to guess not many of us have a piece of furniture in our house that's 30 years old. Okay, well, Alderman Turner.
I can't afford
I
it.
suggest
I can't
to-
afford new furniture.
I suggest to support, maybe you should get rid of your Cadillac and buy a piece of a couch instead. So I would suggest that
Oh, it's
we
good for my back. I got a bolster in there and everything.
show support for our community, for our employees. As Mr. Benz stated in the documentation he gave us, it's about our employees' well-being. It's about them knowing we care about them. This furniture is old. Some of it came from the previous city hall. It's time to update things. We have a mayor that's passed budgets that are balanced, not only balanced, but we've actually been able to put money away the last couple years. It's like a miracle compared to what we were doing a few years ago when we were passing deficit budgets. We have the funds to do this. We need to do this to show our employees we care about them and the environment they work in. I suggest we vote on this tonight, and I'm going to make a motion that we override the holdover.
Well, actually, I want to clarify what Alderman Turner's motion actually was. Well, you said motion to table. Did you mean to hold it over for 2 weeks, or did you want to postpone it to a specific date?
I want to hold it over. Correction, I want to table this.
Okay, so
table.
Tabling is, tabling means that you are not picking it up at any time in the future. you're not going to vote on it, and that would be that would require a motion and a majority vote.
Wait a minute. So if we want to hold it over, we have to take a vote
No.
Tabling it.
I know. I'm just trying to get this procedure.
Yeah,
'cause it seems to go back
just
and
to be
forth
clear,
all
because
the
I know
time.
this has led to some confusion. If you want to hold it over, which is a local term that means that it will be automatically put on the agenda in 2 weeks, you can do that without a second and without a vote. Now, that can be overturned by a vote of 2/3. If you want to postpone it to a date certain, that requires a majority vote. If you want to table it, which means basically it just goes and is not considered ever again, and actually I don't recommend that because it's a very confusing procedural term, but if you want to do that, that would also require a second and a majority vote.
All right, let's hold it over for 2 weeks. Can we do that?
That is, so
Thank
you've asked for that, and then Alderman Florian, you had asked to take a motion to override the holdover.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one question I have, Alderman Turner, why 2 weeks? What is going to happen in 2 weeks that would change from today? I mean,
I'll have an opportunity to ask a number of questions that we don't like to discuss things openly here, so I will ask a number of questions of you, your
but have you
staff.
not had that
I have
chance
not
with,
had, no, I have not had that opportunity.
during your briefing or with the
I didn't get my questions answered. I have questions that I'd like to ask. You asked why I want to hold it over. That's my answer. I want to ask questions.
So the Alderman Turner is asking to hold it over. Alderman Florian had stated an intention to vote to overrule the holdover. So she has made that motion. That requires a second and then a 2/3 vote.
I'll second it.
That has a second, okay. And there's not really any discussion on this, so clerk, if you could call the roll.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton. Guzman.
No, because if he has more questions, he should wait.
Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
No.
Newsome.
Aye.
Turner.
No.
Yeses have it.
So the motion to hold over has failed, so this will be, now, the main motion is back on the table. I don't know if there was a first and a second on this motion.
yeah.
Okay, Florian and Martinez.
Okay. So I'll read the resolution as it is. A resolution authorizing a good faith waiver and approving the procurement of office furniture for various departments of the city from Rework LLC. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on November 20th, 2023. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsome.
Aye.
Turner.
No.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There, mention one quick thing, and that was actually, David Motley, are you still here in the back? Good. Can you come up for a minute? This weekend, I don't know if any of you are aware of this, but there were 30 Wonders of the 30th District by Senator Adrian Johnson. And I've got the books out. Waukegan received enormous recognition from this, and I'm going to have David talk about a few of the spots because he's got the certificates for it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, and everyone in the audience viewing at home. Jane Ferry and I had the great opportunity yesterday to represent the city of Waukegan and our partners at a ceremony held by Senator Adrian Johnson, and it was the 30 Wonders of the 30th District, and it was her effort on behalf of her district to recognize 30 amazing places and give them not only recognition but also an amazing certificate. And I would like to run through them really quickly. They are highlights throughout the entire 30th District, which is a vast geographic region, right, made up of a lot of very unique and amazing communities. But I'll tell you, of the 30 places, 15 of them were in Waukegan, and we're really happy. So it was Jane and I, and there were a number of other guests representing our community partners, including Janet from the Park District. We had Max from the Harbor and a bunch of folks from the Waukegan Park District, including Josue over there, one of the managers of community information. So it recognized historical, cultural, arts, social and recreational destinations, and also parks and nature. So I'm going to run through really quick the list of those locations, and you'll recognize all of them because they're all in all of your wards, so we're really lucky. They included the Waukegan History Museum, the Ray Bradbury statue at the Waukegan Public Library, the water tower at the lake, the Waukegan Veterans Memorial Plaza, the Carnegie Library, Jack Benny Center for the Arts, of course, the Genesee Theater is on there, the Fieldhouse Sports, Fitness, and Aquatic Center, Waukegan Main Street, which specifically highlighted Art Walk, the arts event that takes place monthly in downtown Waukegan, the Corrine J. Rose Park, Trinity AME Church, the Waukegan Municipal Beach, the Waukegan Harbor and Marina, Bowen Park, and as a catch-all category, every single one of the libraries in the 30th District are recognized as amazing assets for the community that they are in. I also wanted to make sure that I gave a tip of the old hat to Jane Ferry for helping ensure that our community got out and voted in great volume to ensure that we took the lion's share of these locations and highlights here specifically in Waukegan. So thank you, Jane, for your ability to mobilize the troops. And I will tell you, we were the envy of the room. And Janet had to get up and down at least 10 times to receive the awards on behalf of the Waukegan Park District. But for me, I was humbled and certainly honored to represent the community at the event yesterday. So thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity, and thank you for all of your help to ensure that we continue to highlight all of these amazing places in Waukegan.
Okay, thank you so much, David. And next is the Alderman time.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for all the calls, of course, and thanks to staff here. It's been really working out good. I've got a lot of calls. We were able to resolve a lot of things that people had problems with. City Yard was great. The staff in the city was great, taking care of code enforcement and everything. And the police department is really helping me out with a lot of stuff. A lot of calls about the garbage cans and stuff. And I don't understand this company. People live in a street, and you go down the street and you put garbage cans at people's houses. East Bonnybrook, they missed 4 houses. They got my house, and they missed the house right next door. They went down 2 houses, missed that house, and then went down 2 more houses and missed that house. And I don't realize this. I got my garbage cans the first day, so I thought great, everybody's going to get their stuff. But we had some people that didn't have garbage, so I talked to them, and we used other people's garbage cans to put the garbage in the garbage, so it's not out by the street or left for raccoons. We have a lot of raccoons where I live in Fox and the whole shot, so we didn't have any garbage in the street. And I also got a call just before the meeting tonight about the garbage cans. Just after the 21st, tomorrow, you can call LRS at 847-291-1222. And after the 21st, because they still have another day to deliver them, and see what you can do. And I don't know if any of you have any people that might have 2 units in your house. They only dropped off 2 garbage cans, so contact has got to be made to LRS and advise them that the old garbage company did leave 4 cans. And I made that call on Saturday, and I still haven't got anything back from them, so I will make a call tomorrow. And then just Like they say, they're still going through the cars in everybody's neighborhood, but you have to lock your cars. These 9 times out of 10, when they're taking these cars, they're stealing Kias right and left, and people are leaving their doors open. I said, come on, it's not hard to lock your cars. And also, you see something, call the police. And, you know, just stay safe. You see something, call, and just that, stay safe.
Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Leaf pickup continues in the 8th Ward. I think they were supposed to be out today and tomorrow. I think the schedule's probably a little bit behind. I'm seeing Chris nod his head, so be patient. They're coming. Hopefully, the weather continues to cooperate with us for the next few days here, and we can get it cleaned up. There's going to be a holiday celebration at Galloway, the new assisted living place in the 8th Ward, on November 30th in the evening. It's a really beautiful facility. If any of you are interested in seeing it, I suggest you try to go and see what the community has. It's going to be a great asset to Waukegan, I believe, going forward. I attended the gun violence prevention town hall on Saturday. I was a little late getting there, so I didn't see it all, but it was great to see all the different agencies in the community working to end gun violence in our community. I'm glad they held this town hall. Waukegan Police Department was represented, as well as many agencies throughout the city, several of the aldermen I saw there. I would like to see these efforts continue and maybe get some smaller groups together where there can be some more back and forth between the participants and the agencies, and get the community more involved, maybe host them in different parts of the community, so that we can get more input from the residents on the issue. Lastly, I would like to apologize for my behavior at the last city council meeting. I was called out as a bully. I don't want to ever be considered a bully. We've had bullies up here. I've seen it myself. I don't like it. I signed the civility pledge. I need to live up to that ideal. I'm extremely passionate about our environment, as I've said multiple times. We are an environmental justice community, and we as leaders need to do everything we can to protect and support our environment. I'm sorry I let my passion get the best of me. I will try to do better going forward. One of my fellow aldermen called me out asking about how many trees that I've obtained as a result of my legislative power. I'm sorry they don't know that in 2019 I learned about Winthrop Harbor getting 100 trees from the Morton Arboretum. So when I heard about this, I called the Arboretum to ask about the program, and they said they were told Waukegan wasn't interested in trees. And I told them, of course we were interested in trees. My neighborhood was decimated when the emerald ash borer came through. We lost almost every tree in the parkway in my neighborhood. And I know throughout the whole city there were problems. So anyway, as a result of this phone call, Waukegan got 150 trees. They were planted throughout the whole city. I can give anyone who wants it, I can give them the list of where they all went. They were given as a grant through the U.S. Forest Service. Every ward in the city got them, not a result of any particular power, but all because I happened to make a phone call and follow up. I'd like to let you know that you guys that are new up here don't know what it's like to operate under a deficit budget. My first 2 years as an alderman, the city council passed deficit budgets. There was no money for anything extra. We were worried about paying our bills from week to week because we had passed budgets that we were planning on spending more money than we were taking in. That was the plan from day one. There was no extra spending on anything nice because there was no extra money. And as for legislative power, here's my take on that. As a single alderman, you don't have any power. It takes 5 of us to pass any legislation. That's our job. We're legislators. As a democracy, we don't want power to be concentrated in a single individual. We're supposed to be here to do the greater good for our community. Hopefully, if 5 of us agree to something, it will result in bettering our community. When I ran for office, I knocked on a lot of doors. I told people I felt the good old boys had run Waukegan for too long. I felt we needed new thinking. It breaks my heart to think as hard as I've worked to change that thinking, to end that type of governing in Waukegan, here we go again. Same game, different players. It's why we can never have nice things in Waukegan. Somebody owes someone a favor. Somebody knows someone. You'll never see me use my power and put it on Facebook. Put it live on Facebook. Oh, I gotta go because my friend is about to get a ticket downtown. And I gotta go and help my friend because I gotta tell the cops not to give him a ticket for parking in a handicapped spot. We just had a veteran here last meeting distraught because he didn't have anywhere to park. Many of you probably don't know, my father had one leg. He lost his leg at Johns Manville. I remember as a child driving around the baseball park looking for a parking space because there was no handicapped parking then. We had to hope someone felt sorry enough for us. They'd let us park close enough to the door my dad could get in to see the baseball game. You'll never see me help anyone who illegally parks in a handicapped spot. That's not what they're for. They're for the people who are handicapped. I don't want to see us at odds with each other up here, but I will not apologize for fighting for what I believe is right for our community. But I do promise to try to do it civilly. Thank you.
Alderman Hayes.
Pass.
Alderman Bolton.
Yes. I want to make everyone aware, on the 6th floor in our county building, you can pick up a senior service brochure, and in this brochure is all kinds of referrals and numbers, especially when it comes to homestead taxes and things like that. It's a very important brochure. And then before I forget, Mr. Ray Edwards have a toy drive December 16th at 6 p.m. And you can see him about that flyer. And then on the December 17th, he has another Christmas party event, and see him also about that event. And then I've gotten really a lot of calls about trash cans not being delivered. I've been out in the First Ward, seeing my constituents. And so along with our other aldermen, I like to give out that additional phone number if you have not gotten your trash can. And that is 844-633-3577. The number again, 844-633-3577. And remember, the leaf pickup are just projective dates. We know in the First Ward we are kind of behind picking up on leaves. So the next leaf pickup projective date for the First Ward looks like November 29th, but hopefully they'll be out sooner than that. Then I want to acknowledge the AME Church for feeding the community on yesterday. We were giving away free meals. There was macaroni and cheese and collard greens and beans and sweet potatoes, and we were just pulling individuals off the street to come in and eat. It was a well-attended event. And also I attended the JIC for their Healing the Community Against Gun Violence. I too was there. And the next one is December 2nd, once again at 11 a.m. at the JIC community. Then I want to acknowledge the contract that we have with Cornerstone. They were very thorough in their presentation, and some of you all need to be aware of some of the things that they do. If I can look at some of the notes. They handle all our, I think they did an excellent job. Some of the things that they're working on, so our constituents will know, our environmental plan. They're working on the casino. They're working on the Waukegan train station, that plan, the water plant, different grants they're lobbying for. They're working on criminal justice, funding for that. Our policing body cameras, I was taking a lot of notes, and so many other things. So they're very important in being proactive in moving our city forward. Lastly, I'd like to bring back to the floor to amend. I've gotten a lot of calls concerning the tree ordinance, and I want to acknowledge Noelle. She did a great presentation and clarifying when it comes to the UDO. But Mayor, I'd like to amend once again and allowing us, in respect of my peer, Alderman Felix, because he did not fully get a chance to share out of respect. Like we said, we're trying to advocate for each other and work together. Bringing back for discussion our next meeting in reference to the UDO. I agree we should move that forward, but I've gotten a lot of calls when it comes to our old businesses complaining about the tree ordinance. And that's all I have for now. One last thing. Acknowledging our constituent that, one more thing, that he keeps bringing, and that's Brother Blanks, he continuously bring to our attention in reference to establishing a police accountability committee. So I think we should need to set a timeline instead of allowing him to just continue to come back so we can be responsible and accountability to him. Thank you.
Alderman Guzman.
I just want to make sure, because there's nothing that was done. And it's not the tree ordinance, it's the, what is it, Stu?
I'm sorry, the parking.
The landscaping ordinance.
Landscaping ordinance. So you,
there was a first and a second, so.
Yeah, so
I'm going to give council the opportunity to talk.
So, Alderman Bolton, are you asking that the item that had been previously postponed for consideration, I think until March, be put on the next agenda instead?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All right. That's
Out of respect of
yeah.
the businesses that I'm receiving the calls from.
Okay, so this is that is a procedural motion requesting that an item be placed on our next agenda. That would require a motion and a second. Nothing can be considered tonight, but something could be placed on the agenda for the 4th.
No, it would be the December 11th. It's a committee.
Oh, well, okay, so
if we can do it for the next meeting, because the committee agenda is already going to be packed. We're not even going to probably even get to it. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that people have that.
Can I ask a question?
There's a motion to procedurally put it on the next meeting. I guess it would go under old business. Is there would need to be a second for that motion?
There was Alderman Felix that second.
Okay, I'm making sure for the clerks. Okay, Mayor, back to you.
Okay, so we need 5 votes on that to put it on that agenda? Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask a question, or?
Alderman Florian, yes.
So who do we think is going to be planting trees in December, January, and February? I mean, we held it over till March. I don't believe anybody's going to plant trees in the winter. You need to buy a couch.
I have to agree, but there's a motion before you, so you need to have a motion of, is that 6? No, it's 5?
It would just be 5 for the procedural motion to put something on a future agenda. Simply a vote of 5.
Future agenda.
Okay, can I ask a question? Is this for discussion only, Alderman?
Want it on the next agenda.
For
To do
discussion,
what?
yes.
You talking about the parking lot and all that stuff?
Yes, we want to move forward with the UDO.
So who's going to be, huh?
We want to move forward with the
UDO?
UDO.
The
I
UDO is
understand
not
they're
coming until next
combined.
year.
Right.
So the motion that the ordinance that that Stu specified, that's the one that we're talking
For
about.
the parking,
Yeah.
the parking lot where you have to, who's going to be redoing their parking lot in the wintertime?
Oh, I'm not saying no one is.
Plant
I'm not
is
saying no one is. I didn't even bring it up. So she, out of respect, she brought it back up, and I agree. I second it. So
I mean, I'm just trying to find out the discussion that we're going to be doing.
There's no discussion. It's going to be that ordinance. Am I right, Stu? Well, I mean, we're discussing it now, right?
There
won't
was an ordinance that was brought up. There were some technical issues with it. It would be brought back basically on old business for discussion with some modifications that would actually deal with what Alderman Felix was asking for. It can be discussed. It could also be put on for actual action. It could be placed on committee of the whole. There's a lot of options whenever you're making a procedural motion. But the motion right now would be to place it on old business on December 4th during the regular city council meeting.
So that would be for a vote on that, at that meeting. I still have to say, it doesn't make any sense if there's not going to be any construction done during those months anyway, but it is before you, so you have to take a vote. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Can I just ask a clarifying question? We're voting to reconsider what we voted on before, or are we voting on new language that Alderman Felix wanted to have proposed at the last meeting?
This would be new language that you have not seen.
So we don't even know what the language is yet that we're being called to vote to put back on the agenda. On a topic that was already heavily debated and decided up here. So now we're looking to unwind that debate and that vote.
We discussed it that time after it was shut down. Stu went over exactly what we were trying to do.
Would this go to a committee or on the council agenda?
He wants it on the council agenda is what he's
Council.
asking.
Well, the problem is that the committee meetings are the only times our residents can come up and ask questions and expect an answer. So now we're going to bypass that after we had so many people come here and beg us to keep this ordinance, and not one single person came to that podium and said we should get rid of this ordinance. And now we're going to bypass the committee and put it right on the council and not allow people to have their questions answered in a committee.
Yes, because we're for
Lynn,
the people.
Lynn, I agree. So how, if it's okay, Alderman Bolton, how about we discuss it, the changes that we wanted to make, and then we go vote for it?
For open discussion.
Yeah. Is that something we can do, Stu?
This is taking a step backwards. I don't see what we're accomplishing. And to Alderwoman Florian's point, at least put it in a committee. It's okay. It's just, here we are. We thought we were going to have an efficient meeting
out
tonight.
of respect,
and
put it back
we're retreading.
in the committee. Yeah.
Okay, so, sorry, Alderman Bolton, were you saying that you would modify your motion to have it sent to a committee?
Yeah.
Do you have, so this would go to community development, would probably be the most appropriate committee to, because it does deal with things that are under the UDO.
And that's the first
Thomas,
week of December.
do we have a community of the whole? Oh, sorry, not
Community
community
development is that
community
first week of
whole.
December.
Community Development Committee on this, okay, yes, there is a regularly scheduled Community Development Committee on December 4th. So would you like to revise your motion to have it placed there? Okay, and does the second agree with that amendment?
I agree, yeah.
Okay, so you have an amended motion to place this on the Community Development Committee on December 4th. Sorry, I'm talking so much.
So is it going straight to vote then from committee, or is there still the 2-week?
If there's new language that's being proposed that has not been discussed, normally it would go to a committee first.
And then 2 weeks later, it would go. So that week before Christmas would be when it would actually be heard on the council.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Is everyone okay with that?
I would still encourage everyone to vote no. This topic was heavily debated, and we went round and round for several meetings, and it does not need to be brought back up until March when we all agreed, or a majority of us agreed it would be brought back up. So
out of respect for the businesses that are calling me, let's put it back on the agenda.
Okay. Is everybody okay with putting this back on? We're going to call the roll call on this to put it back on the agenda in the committee. Okay? Roll call, please, Madam Clerk. So this is just to put it on committee, but it's going back to committee.
Alderman Donnerworth.
No.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
No.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsome.
Nay.
Turner.
No.
6 noes.
Okay, so it will not be in committee on that December 4th meeting. Okay. Can we please continue with Alderman time, please?
Alderman Guzman.
Okay, I just have a few things to say. First of all, I want to mention that it is starting to get darker sooner, so let's be more diligent with school buses and kids going around, coming home from school. So let's keep up on that. I want to say a happy Thanksgiving and a safe travels if somebody's going to travel. And hopefully you and your family have a great time. I had a privilege of going to the BLM speakers, what was it, like a week or two ago. It was a great time. I heard some speakers. I learned a lot. This previous weekend, I was at gun violence prevention with State's Attorney Reinhardt. It was very interesting on what the Lake County State's Attorney is doing to prevent crime and the peacemakers that are out there. I didn't even know they existed. I'm very happy that out there they have prevented multiple retaliations, and it looks like at least we're starting somewhere, and we're moving forward. So I was very happy about that. Earlier today, I put a motion to hold for board members of a certain board that is appointed by the city of Waukegan. I mean, the reason I did that is because I want everybody the opportunity of this. Okay, if we were told, we were told, and it was vaguely. And I should have maybe been on the site a little bit more and put it out there for more applications to be voted on. What I understood that only one person applied for this. So that's why I'm giving it another 2 more weeks to see who else applies for this and see who else we can put on these boards instead of reelecting the same thing over and over and over again and seeing no change to the process. Yes, my constituents elected me for the 2nd ward, but my responsibility is for the entire city. As you can see, we vote for the entire city and not just for the 2nd ward. Okay, that is my responsibility. That is the task that the residents of Waukegan has put me on this council for. Thank you very much, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Alderman Martinez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, I'd like to give my welcome to Pastor Percy Johnson for the beautiful invocation that he gave us today. I will start out by saying I had the pleasure of being in the Veterans Day Parade last week. It was nice to see a lot of heroes out there marching and seeing all the sacrifices that all the stories and the testimonies that I heard. So it was a pleasure being alongside the mayor and also Chief Navarro. I also want to, with Thanksgiving around on Thursday, I do want to invite as many seniors as we can get to Mikey's annual Thanksgiving dinner, which will be held Wednesday, November the 22nd from 10:30 to 2 p.m. This will be located at La Canoa. La Canoa is located at 50 South Green Bay Road. So I welcome all the seniors in 3rd Ward and the city. It'd be nice to see everyone there. I will be there serving. I just want to invite everyone. It's open to all seniors in the Waukegan area. Also, just want to let everyone know, the Berwick Boulevard, finally, I did get confirmation today from Mr. Jassel. He did let me know that the program, the lead pipe program, will begin on the 27th. And I asked him what are some things that I can share with my constituents to get them prepared. And one of the things that he said is that parking for that particular week you cannot park on the street, so you have to probably park in a driveway or go to an adjacent street to park. And that's just for that week. Hopefully it'll be done in a week. Also, trash pickup will be the same. It'll proceed. There's no changes in that. So those are the two basic things that he wanted me to share with you guys. But again, for my constituents on Berwick Boulevard, you know, it's been a long time coming. I don't want to even go into detail how that road is. You can't even drive your bike there, but help is on the way, and I am glad to report that. Let me see. Also, a big problem. I know we did have a visitor today in my ward, Mrs. Woods. She gave me a call. She was very concerned about her mom and the condition of what's going on in the school. There's a lot of loitering at the high school. There's vendors out there. It's just a big old mess, you know. So we really need to address it, and I'm glad that it is out in the forefront. I'm glad that I was able to reach out to Navarro, and I also reached out to the mayor, and also Mrs. Moore, and also Principal Gonzalez of the Brookside campus, who's very proactive and also wants to get something done. I do know that she sent out almost over 2,000 emails to parents with the rules and regulations and the policies of the rules of picking up a child, drop off, and all the important stuff. So that is something that we are working on. I'm very determined. I will get to the bottom of it. Please, I need your due diligence. It's going to take a village, like they say. But I think with the cooperation that I have with the mayor and and all other parties involved, the chief of police, hopefully we will have a resolution. But thank you for pointing it out. Please send in those videos. Please send in those pictures. The more we have, the better it'll help my case out. All right. Also, with that being said, just want to let my constituents know that leaf pickup will be on the 27th and the 28th. Just like Alderman Donaldworth pointed out, there's been a big old mess with LRS. It has been hit and miss. Been getting a lot of phone calls. A lot of times, again, it takes a lot of patience. Let the process work. I get calls, and then I get a call back to see what the resolution was, and it's already been taken care of. So please let the process work. I think it's going to work out fine, but just give it the opportunity to work, all right? Okay, with that being said, let me see what else I got here. That's pretty much all I have. So just want to let my constituents know that my phone number is 847-390-2689. And one more thing I do want to mention, you know, what we voted here tonight with the Waukegan Housing Board. Yes, I did serve on that board. Let me tell you, there's some very determined individuals who worked there for many years. Age shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter how many years experience. They're doing a lot for the Waukegan housing, and the proof is in the pudding. Look at the beautiful housing project they did there by the lakefront. So I just ask my constituents that really do your homework and know who these board members are. You know, I'm always under the impression when we get ready to vote on something here that the homework has already been done, that the screening has already been done. Who am I to come up here and say, well, no, I don't think you should get it, let's give it to that person. So when we come up here and vote, my impression is that we're here to vote for it or not for it. We're not here to interview anybody or to encouragement. That screening process had already been done. Again, when we're up here, we should be voting on it, not taking it back or re-screening it or re-voting and giving people opportunity. That's what we're here. We're here to vote on it. We're not here to screen anybody. That's not our job. So I just want to mention that. That's all I have. Please, for my constituents, please have a good, safe Thanksgiving. Be safe, be mindful, but most of all, let's all be great neighbors. Thank you.
Alderman Felix.
Thank you, everyone. A few things. I do want to say thank you to Public Works. Whenever I send a email with pictures and you know, highlighting what I want to, you know, what's a what do you call it? What a concern is from a resident, they respond very fast. So we had a lot of potholes filled on a street. We had a lot of a tree stump taken care of. So I want to say thank you to the Public Works for working fast. In terms of LRS, you know, they're very easy to work with. They already have it in place where if you're calling from Waukegan, you'll go to a certain queue and you can talk to someone live if you have any questions. So I definitely recommend people to go and call if you have any questions or concerns, or if they missed your house, or if you have a 2-unit, 3-unit, or whatever, more than 1 unit, which has been an issue too. Reach out to LRS and they'll take care of you. In terms of Mikey's Thanksgiving dinner, I also want to invite people to go over there, and it's also not just for Waukegan, Zion, and or Chicago seniors can go as well. So definitely would it's a good event that he puts up for the seniors. I do want to well, before I do that, in terms of the tree, the parking space, part of the language, since it got brought up, I didn't bring it up. Thank you, Alderman Bolton, for bringing it up out of respect and to push it forward for discussion. What I see sometimes is that, we highlight that we're getting grants, which is great. We're working towards grants, and that's going to give us an opportunity to do things with these grants. But also, we also want to have something sustainable. If the plan would be to obviously help small businesses, and also help with existing structures that this ordinance wouldn't be required. But if it were to be waived or not waived, then we can actually impose a fee that would go towards a certain cause, which could be towards trees. That's something that's generating constantly from instead of looking outside for grants, which we want to do, but we can also generate something on our end. And that's what I wanted to impose, something like that, where we're being sustainable on our own. With the fees that would go into there, we can put it towards a fund for not just one, not the only one, but it can go towards the trees as well. Now, that's something that's sustainable instead of looking for grants. If we get them, great, but if we don't, we want to make sure our own city's working towards something that's sustainable and it's constant. So that's something that I wanted to do. This is the opportunity. There's opportunity to do these things when these things come up. Other than that, I do also want to make a motion to direct our staff to create a public safety committee, where the committee appointees are appointed by the council, majority, the whole council. They would discuss it, and I would like to place it on the next committee of the whole.
Second.
And Steve, you can help me clarify that, what we want to do.
So the committees of the board are set forth in the Code of Ordinances. This would require an amendment to the Code of Ordinances to establish a public safety committee. The amendment would, I would advise that the amendment would need to define what the responsibilities and the jurisdiction, or the kind of the ambit of that committee would be, and that would be an appropriate thing to discuss in a forum like the Committee of the Whole.
Also, so how a committee works, is there another not committee, is it a committee that also is made out of other individuals that refer things to the committee?
So the way that the Waukegan establishes its committees of the city council is that there are no subcommittees. There are definitely some governing bodies like the legislature of the state of Illinois, where you have committees and you have subcommittees and you have special blue ribbon task force and all those things. In our case, we just have one level below the city council, which are the committees, and they are some subset of the membership of the city council. And those are traditionally appointed by the mayor, according to the city code.
Okay.
And how that works is there is an alderman who is in charge of that committee. has meetings that they need to attend to, and then they receive a stipend for that work. There had been a public safety committee in the past. It was not needed any more than like we had a broadband committee that we no longer have. It is difficult to get all these committees where people can meet on these. And I guess what I would really want to see in writing that nobody has submitted to me is what are the responsibilities of that committee? If you're planning on using it as a COPA board, that's not what that duty would be. If it's, it would have to be something that, first off, that would have to be chaired by Chief Navarro and probably
fire.
both, Chief Pazer on both of those, since you are affecting both police and fire. But I need to see what those duties are because I'm not sure what, you have union employees in here. Are we trying to dictate that, or what are we doing? So all I'd like to see is before we put it on that committee is I need to see something in writing. It's fine to sit here and say, I want this, I want this, I want this, but there's an obligation of saying, this is what we need to see in writing for it to go on a committee. So list what the responsibilities are of what you want so that when that goes up for the committee, that they can see what those duties are.
I do want to make sure that, so we did get a second, but also, I want to treat it like how we did the last time when we brought up something, the attorneys came to us asking what we wanted to do, and they drafted something as to what we wanted to move forward.
This is a legislation issue. Remember, every time our attorneys do something like that, that is time that we are getting billed for. This is the legislative body's job to do that, so it is not costing taxpayers money. This is something that you can redline. You can go and do research and find out, what is it? Obviously, you guys have talked together. What is it that you want that committee to do? Put that in writing, submit it, and then it's easier for them to have the ability to review it rather than create it from scratch where they're billing by the hour rather than just reviewing something.
Why don't we just reconstitute the public safety committee that certainly wasn't?
Well, I think we since we're new aldermen, you might have new ideas. We want to make sure that we don't, what if we open it up and we don't agree to nothing? So I think that creating a new one would be best, and we can move. It's going to go to vote. We're going to discuss it and whatnot. But I think that it hasn't been done in a long time. I think a lot of people are asking for it. So I think it's something that we should move forward. And you did get a second, right?
Can I speak? We used to have a public safety committee, and it comprised of police and fire. And everything that goes through the finance committee now, buying vests or whatever happens with police cars or whatever, that's what came through the public safety committee. If we were going to do a street sign or change something in the ordinance regarding no signs on this street or that street, that came through the public safety committee, all those items. So what are you looking for to go through the public safety committee?
That's why I wanted to draft it with legal counsel, and then you guys will see it. You guys will see it, and you can add to it. It doesn't have to be something that's going to happen fast, but I want to push that forward that way. I mean, it's been asked. People have been asking for many years, and I know we used to have it, but I think it's something that we should bring up.
But that's what it was for. It was not to. I mean, we're still doing that. We're just not paying an alderman to oversee that committee and to add it on to one more committee at our city council meetings. So if there's something different that we want, then I think that's something that you need to draft and have our corporate counsel look at and kind of, but rather than them start it from scratch and pay them by the hour, let's work at saving the city money because our legal bills have been going up and up and up with all these new questions that are coming in by all of you and all these extra hours on things. So I just want to make sure that, you know, we're conscious of our budget and that kind of stuff. So there's nothing wrong in drafting that and just putting it by our corporate counsel. But, you know, if we're just going to take things out of Finance Committee and create another committee for them, and we're going to pay an alderman a stipend to take over that committee, I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. But let's see what comes out of that, okay? Let's agree to that, and just put it on the committee of the whole, but have it ready to go for December 11th for that discussion, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're putting it on the committee of the whole, right? Okay.
There's a motion and a second. You could all, I mean, if everybody agrees, you can do unanimous consent, but there is a motion and a second, so I would argue that a voice vote should happen.
Okay.
Can I have the second, please?
The second was Alderman Turner.
Thank you.
Roll call, please. Roll call.
And this is to place it on
The committee of the whole.
Alderman Donnerworth,
Aye.
Florian,
Aye.
Hayes,
Aye.
Bolton,
Aye.
Guzman,
Aye.
Martinez,
Aye.
Felix,
Aye.
Newsom,
Aye.
Turner.
I'm not sure about this one. Aye.
Motion passed.
I will say it hasn't been very long ago that we haven't had it. I think it was probably 2017 when it dispersed and it went under the finance, so it hasn't been that long ago that we haven't had police and fire under the same public safety.
I think the idea here is different from what it was before, though. I don't believe that they want to talk just about finance, purchasing and stuff. I think it's more along the lines of what Brother Blanks is saying about having.
Okay, yes, thank you, guys. Thank you. I think we're moving in the right direction, at least we're having that discussion. Also, we do have some residents here that, along with myself, with item I, we wanted to make sure that, is there any way to explain that, what that is? Where is it? Yeah, the vacation. I know that was in the finance committee, and I'm for it. I'm definitely for it, but we can still go over it.
Yeah, I can give a very short explanation if the council would like me to. Yeah, okay, so the city owns roads and alleys. Those roads and alleys were carved out of property a long time ago, usually when a neighborhood or a subdivision was created. Sometimes we don't need all the roads and alleys that were originally carved out. Sometimes we haven't paved those alleys. Sometimes they simply have fallen into disuse. And so there are times when it's appropriate for the city to sell back the property that it owns. And in the case of a road or alley, we call that, under law, we call that vacating right-of-way. When you vacate right-of-way, you basically say the city takes its hands off it, says, not it, and then the property is usually given back to an adjacent landowner. The difference, Waukegan had changed the way that it did vacations a number of years ago, and it deviated from what the state policy was and how the state does it. And what this ordinance does is basically it brings it in line with how the state law says to do it. We weren't doing it illegally before. We were just doing kind of a custom format based on Waukegan's home rule power. And now we're going back to kind of the more standard legal procedure.
Thank you, Stu. Hopefully that clarifies some stuff. Last thing I wanted to touch on, and it'll be the last thing, guys, but I think it's very important, and I don't think it's being talked about. So, I mean, if we can touch on it, or at least get some correct information, because there's a lot of misinformation out there regarding the migrants. Stu, how does the city of Waukegan stand?
Is this the question that had been raised previously?
Yeah.
About?
Yep. Yes.
So there were questions about whether Waukegan is classified as a sanctuary city. The Waukegan is not classified as a sanctuary city. That is, the sanctuary city movement was a legislative action that a number of communities took, including the city of Chicago, which created, they didn't really pass a law, but they established policies that said that law enforcement would not cooperate with the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, Immigration Customs, to deport folks simply based on criminal violations. The city of Waukegan never actually took that step. It was discussed in 2015 or 2016. It was brought up. The city council never took actions on that. The city does not have a formal policy on that. One thing that I would note about the recent migrant influx, that when you have people who have been sent up here from places like Texas on buses, those folks are not illegal aliens. They are not illegal non-residents. Those are people who have asked for asylum in the country. They're governed by a completely separate legal procedure, and they are here under a legal status as asylum seekers. So that doesn't, the issue of the term illegal alien, which is a very pejorative term, or someone who is here illegally, does not apply to those folks.
Thank you, Stu. I think with that clarification, because there's a lot of finger pointing to who, what's the problem, who's the problem, whatnot. I think that clarifies what that means and what that means for our city. With that, guys, again, with the leaf pickup, if you guys see any issues and you say, oh, well, they left half of my leaves there, take a picture. We want proof. We want to see, that way we can hold people accountable. But, a picture says 1,000 words. You just saying it on here, so, by the time someone goes out there, the leaves will be in another house. So, take pictures and send it to us, and then we'll get it to the right people or reach out to the city as well. Thank you, guys.
Alderman Newsom.
Thank you. Stuart, you can expound on something else too about the, the question was posed to me if the city was bringing in migrants and putting them up at the old Ramada, and that the city was trying to do that. So you can talk a little bit of
That's not a thing.
dispel that.
Yeah, I'll let the mayor speak to that.
That is absolutely not. Actually, what we have done is we've gone to court to get the Ramada where nobody can be in the Ramada in. We went to court. We were already in the process of, I think we explained this at the last city council meeting. We sent the letter on October 10th. In court, by Wednesday of this week, they have to have the fence completely sealed and safe so that nobody can go into that building. They have done that today. It was completed. But no, that building should not have anybody in it. It is not a healthy or safe environment, and the only people who have been in there have been people who have broken into it, not been sent there. So, thank you.
I just wanted to iterate, leaf pickup for the 5th Ward is going to be this Wednesday, the 22nd, and Friday, the 24th. I believe they were a little bit behind last week, so it may be next Monday before they get to the 5th Ward, but hopefully they will. Some areas of my ward have said that they haven't seen them since the first go-around, so I think they skipped the second go-around that they were supposed to be in the 5th Ward, so hopefully they'll get caught up before November 30th when they're finished. And then with the LRS cans, I haven't received a lot of calls from residents that haven't received their cans, just a few. But I just want to thank Mr. Chris and Chief Bridges and David Motley. For those that I did call about, they were Johnny on the spot and making sure those residents got their cans and they didn't have to put their garbage bags on the curb for not having their LRS cans because the waste management cans had been picked up. So I appreciate your assistance, your staff, helping me out in that regards. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you. So in the 6th Ward, we've got a number of things I want to talk about. But first, Mayor, would it be possible if you could have your staff email to all the aldermen the list of boards and committees and such and what openings are so that we could distribute that to our Facebook pages? Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so a couple of things in the 6th Ward. One, it's obviously the holiday season, and I want to remind everyone, please be cautious. I know Chief Navarro has reported the crime statistics, and crime is down. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is there's still crime. So pay attention, be wary of your surroundings, situational awareness. It seems to me from looking at the significant incident reports that there's been some significant incidents, particularly in the 4th, 6th, 7th, and 9th wards. And I know a woman, one of my neighbors, was attacked, robbed, beaten, and kicked on the street in, I think, up on the 1800 block of Walnut. It's a very nice neighborhood, so crime is everywhere. Pay attention to what you're doing, and, of course, report all crimes to the police. Along the lines of public safety, Chief and Commander did a little research on the decibel meters. Fortunately, we're not hearing all those loud, noisy cars as much as during the warmer weather, but I do have some information on decibel meters. I think you'll be interested, and I'll pass that on to you. Leaf pickup, several aldermen have talked about it. Alderman Newsom mentioned her schedule, which matches mine. They'll pick up on the 22nd and the 24th. I encourage everyone, the wind has been blowing, it's been a while, leaf, we've been through that. Get out there, rake your leaves again to the curb, as close to the curb as you can. That big vacuum hose doesn't reach out into the middle of the parkway or over by the sidewalk. You got to get them way over there. Also, I've had a few reports of people burning leaves. No leaf burning in Waukegan. And it is obviously a fire hazard, but it also poses a health breathing hazard for people who are suffer certain medical conditions, particularly our elderly and the young. A few community events, if you will. On December 23rd, the Fiesta Patrias organization is hosting a Christmas party from 12 to 2 at the Paris Banquet Hall. Also on the on the 16th, Rayon Edwards is hosting a toy drive giveaway. I think one of the other aldermen mentioned, and that is 6 p.m. Doesn't say where. So, all right. Also on the 23rd, again, I will be co-hosting an Angel Tree event. This is where we donate toys to the children of incarcerated individuals. That'll be in the 6th Ward at the Sunset Bowl from 12 to 4, again on 12/23. And that be that. I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I do want to remind people with garbage, one misunderstanding that has come up is that now that people have received their LRS garbage cans, they are often putting them down full with their waste management garbage cans, thinking they have double the garbage they can get rid of. Now that you've received your LRS cans, those are the cans you fill and put to the curb. The waste management ones you put out there on your regular garbage day pickup, but empty, because they're just coming around to pick them up. This was clearly posted when we put everything out, but sometimes people haven't read those flyers clearly. We are not doing double garbage service. Waste Management is doing leaf pickup. They are behind schedule. One of the reasons we don't have Waste Management was after their leaf pickup last year, I was not happy with the way they handled it, so we canceled their contract. So we are dealing with them until December 1st. Hopefully, things will work out for this season, and then we'll be with LRS from then on out. So with that said, can I have a motion to adjourn? Alderman Bolton, second by Alderman Martinez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.